Hello there, everybody. Good evening to you, and welcome to this amazing program. Good to have you all here on Zoom, the people joining in on YouTube and on Facebook. You are all welcome to this program. This will be a mind-shifting encounter for anybody who is ready for an encounter, for a time, a shift. All right. So while we are getting set, this is a business industry kind of thing, and I always like to do introductions. So go ahead in the chat box right now and write your name, your city and your country, and the name of your business or what you do. Like I always say, you never know which client or a partner is in the chat box. You never know who can see the skills that you have and decide to employ you. I have seen people get employment when I host events, so I know what I'm saying. All right. So go ahead in the chat box and indicate your name, your city, and your country where you're joining in from, and what you do. If you run a business, write the name of your business and, of course, what you provide as services, just briefly, don't overdo it. And if you're a worker, write what you do and your skill set or your certifications or expertise, something in that light. All right. Yes, let's do that. All right. Good to see Victory, data analyst, joining us from Turkey. Noella, teacher therapist with children with disabilities, joining us from Abu Dhabi. We see Kamani from Yaoundé, regional coordinator at IPEN. What's the full meaning of IPEN? What does that mean? It's an NGO, right? What's the full meaning? All right, good to see that. Good to see that. Yes, let's keep doing that. Many people are just joining us right now. So you're welcome as you're joining us. You're welcome to join us. Yes, yeah. All right. Right, look at that. So many amazing people here. Look at that. International Pollutants Elimination Network. Nice. Nice. Maxeline from Barminda works with the microfinance. Clarice from Dubai, registered nurse, working as a dental nurse. Beautiful, beautiful. All right. If you are just joining us here on Zoom or on Facebook or on YouTube, please go ahead and just introduce yourself. Tell us what you do. If you run a business, let us know. And of course, anything else that you can use to promote yourself. Very important. Beautiful. Right. We have a good number of people, and of course, so many of them will be joining us subsequently as we proceed. Get set, get your notebook, get a pen or get your notepad ready, because I believe that your life will never remain the same. Your life will never remain the same. Okay. Beautiful. All right. Welcome again, everybody. It's always so good to have people from my different communities that I run, from different academies, different programs that I run. This is one of those general events that everybody gathers on the same platform, right? And it's always good to have everybody gather on the same platform as we teach. So, if for many people who have been part of my different communities for, let me say, more than 2 years now, you should know that this is a tradition that I do where every year towards my birthday in September, which is 2nd September, I always host a special training event, speaking event, what have you, to train on certain topics, depending on what I perceive or feel that, the people in my immediate community will definitely need. And in this episode or in this edition of this program, I will be taking us through a journey. I believe that if you understand what I will teach us or teach you, your life will never remain the same. So today we're going to be looking at the asset activation framework. There is a process that if you follow, you can be able to make more money from what you have. And don't be scared by the word asset. And I will show you examples, and you will see that everybody, including you have a couple of things that you can, use this strategy on. And then tomorrow on day 2, I will teach you on the judicious utility cycle and how you can use that consistently in all areas of your life, in your wealth creation journey or in your industry, in whatever that you do. And then on day 3, we'll look at the leverage and dominance model, which you can use to create more wealth. All right. So that is our journey for the next 3 days. So don't miss out and create your program to be part of this. All right. Right, keep the introduction coming. For those who are joining in, please go ahead in the chat box, tell us your name, your location, city, country, what you do, and all of that, should in case there is somebody who would like to connect with you. Go ahead and do that while we start. If you don't have your notebook or your notepad, please get one. Get a cup of coffee, get a cup of juice or something, right? Because this is going to be a fun ride. I strongly believe so. Awesome. All right. So as we're doing that, it is also going to help me, right, to understand in which direction I want to teach this. There is a way I can teach this and focus just on helping people that are working professionals to know how to use this. And there's a way I can teach this only for entrepreneurs, right? And there's a way I can teach this only for people that are in between the two, okay? So when you are introducing yourself, it's helping me to understand the scenario or the people that are here right now, okay? All right, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, thank you. All right, like I said, as you see from our agenda for the next 3 days, and for those who are in my WhatsApp groups or those who are in my email list, I've been emailing you guys this agenda that I created for this event in the last couple of weeks. So many of you are already aware of the calendar for the next 3 days. So today we will be looking at the asset activation framework. And I want to challenge you, please be an active participator, right? Like I always say, in any event like this, there is a in any event like this, there are passive participants and there are active participants. Okay. So don't be a passive person.
Recording in progress.
Be an active participant. All right. Like I always say, if you sit under an event like this for the next 3 days and you don't leave with something you can apply, you were entertained, you were not informed, and you were not transformed. Because it is possible to listen to a music or watch a movie and your life remains the same, right? Your excitement and your emotions get spiked at that particular moment. After that, you remain the same. And if you sit through any training, not just my trainings, if you sit through any events and you don't leave with a practical, process to apply in your life so you can move your life forward, you are entertained. And of course, you are not transformed, right? And that's why every expert trainer or speaker always make sure that the way they design their presentation or what they're going to walk you through, it is structured in a way you can be able to apply, in what you do. And like I always fondly say, if you sit under a program like this, it should be able to reduce your suffering, right? For example, if you're somebody who is struggling financially and you're struggling to make ends meet or live an abundant life financially, that's some form of suffering, right? And if you sit under a program like this, the knowledge you get should reduce that suffering. Why? Because when you apply the knowledge, that's light. When light meets darkness, darkness always disappear. Okay, so make sure that you are not a passive person. Awesome. So we are looking at the asset activation framework. What does this mean, and how can you use this to scale your wealth creation, to scale your ability to make money, right? And if you only understand this and apply it, there's going to be a major shift, especially when it comes to your ability to create, and multiply wealth in your life or multiply your income. Many a times, most people fail in this journey of life not because they lack resources, right? The challenge of many people is not really the lack of resources, but most people fail to understand how they can either activate, how they can refine, and how they can deploy what they already possess. And many people don't understand what they possess and how they can convert it into wealth creation. And that's the purpose of today. Because if you are going to be a disruptor in your generation, you're going to be somebody that creates, that contributes. And like I always say, if when it comes to money making, right, you cannot pray and you cannot pray only and be successful financially. Because if you're only praying and you're missing out on certain core principles, you will struggle to make money. I always try to compare between poor countries and very wealthy countries, right? Now, America is where it is because it has the ability to create value and to export a lot of that value. Now, many African countries are struggling financially and they have so many poor citizens because they don't have a lot of value they are creating, and the value they are exporting is very, very minimal. And it is the same for individuals. If you don't know how to create, convert, deliver, and export, especially beyond your friends and family members, you will always struggle financially. It's a simple principle, right? So, like I always fondly tell people in my consulting, the more strangers you can get to know what you do, and the more you know how to drive sales conversations to get those strangers to believe in what you're selling and pay you, the more you're going to become a wealthy person, right? So, what am I trying to say? We're in a generation where your ability to disrupt your industry, your local community, your village, your town where you are is very important, right? So, disruptors, if you have studied them, you understand that disruptors master the art of turning either hidden assets, overlooked assets, underutilized assets into what you can call competitive advantage. So the challenge with most people is that they don't know how to convert these things into a wealth creation system. So most people get to underestimate what they already have, either as skills, as contacts, as experience, as intellectual property. So they struggle to be able to do what? To create that wealth. That's why you don't create wealth from thin air. No, there must be something that you anchor upon to be able to become a wealthy person. That's why you don't guess what wealth creation. It's both an art and a science. That's why for Christians, you don't only pray and become wealthy. No, there must be an anchor, right? And I want to show you how to use this anchor. You get the perspective. Because show me somebody who understands the process to go through to, for example, to refine their undervalued skills into, let's say, what they call in business premium offers, right? And or into what they call market relevant capabilities that others can happily pay for. You will always be able to make money. A few days ago, in my normal monthly call with my mentees, I was teaching them what I call how to develop their commercial capabilities. It's another principle and concept. Show me anybody who knows how to develop their commercial capabilities. That person will always make money. Always. Right? So show me an individual that has the capacity to, let's say, you pick your skill set and you begin to focus. How can I convert these skill sets into a premium market relevant capability that somebody else can pay me for? It always shifts your ability to make money, right? So you will see people that they have a lot of skills that are sitting dormant. Those are wasted assets. Knowledge from school, master's degree, first degree, HND, PhD program. Like a lady sent me a message yesterday, one of the best messages I read this month, how she made her first 1 million francs after listening to some of my training programs. She was a PhD student, but she felt that she wasn't making money from it. But being able to go through the right teaching, she was able to understand how to convert her PhD journey, which was already kind of sitting like a wasted resource, a wasted asset, right? So there are things that when you know how to do, you have the capacity to convert dormant assets or things sitting, like waste into abilities, into commercial capabilities that can make money. I can give you many examples, right? In my consulting and coaching journey of close to 15 years, I'll give you so many examples. I was a lady one time, she was complaining of she cannot make money, she's jobless and all of that. So I just felt led to ask her, can you tell me what did you write your project on in the university? Master's project. She told me, I was like, so why can't you convert this project into a money-making system? She was shocked. She was shocked. Yes, your project practically is solving a problem in the society. If you can convert this, you can become a consultant with so many NGOs around. I worked with her. We packaged and created different products and services from that. And we wrote proposal letters to NGOs. In less than 3 months, she got her first paying consulting contract. The only thing that we did was that we converted a wasted resource into a premium payable product that has commercial capabilities. And she started making money in hundreds of thousands. See, I always say that whether you have PhD or you have first school or you left high school, every human being on earth has the capacity to make a lot of money. A friend of mine who runs a consulting firm with one of his colleagues, they shared a research that they did with me. It's a private research. And they came to a conclusion that every human being who has clocked the age of 17 and above has the capacity to create an idea that can give them $300 million in their lifetime. I was like, what? What? Show me the research. I read and I agreed with them that every human being, as long as you are 17 years and above, you have there is something in you, with you, in your experience, in your journey on earth, that if you can use the right knowledge and skill set, you can create an idea that can give you $300 million in your lifetime. Convert that in your local currency where you are, right? But which is true. So the purpose of today's teaching is to show you the process you can go through to begin to turn various things in your life into wealth creation possibilities. And it doesn't matter what that thing is. Now, before I show you the how to, I want to explain to you the categories of assets that you have right now. I am telling you, all of us, you're going to see yourself having most or some or maybe all of this category of assets that if you now use the process I'm going to show you, you can be able to activate and convert one of these assets or two or more of them into a wealth creation system that can make you more money. And there is no excuse, because I have seen all types of clients use what I'm going to teach you to make a lot of money from what they do. So I'm not guessing. I know it works. Right. Now, before I list the various categories of assets so you see which one that you have, I would like to first of all explain what asset means in this context, right? For accountants, and I could think in this particular direction because I did accounting in my, high school and then first degree, right? So that's why I'm using the word assets. But in this context, asset is what you can explain to be that idea or that system or anything that you already possess. Hear me very well. Anything that you already possess, it is with you right now. I'm not talking about something you're thinking of borrowing. No. The purpose of this is to take what you already possess now into a commercial capability or wealth creation possibility that can make you more money. That's the discussion. That's what I want to show you, right? So an asset in this context is not limited to, financial holdings like what a typical accountant will understand in a balance sheet. No, an asset in this context is anything that you already possess. I'm going to give you examples. Anything that you already possess, either tangible or intangible, that carries potential to create value, that carries potential to generate growth, that carries potential to deliver an advantage to other people. Once you put it to use, that is an asset. So anything that you already possess that has the capacity to do what? To create value, the potential to generate growth, The potential to deliver an advantage when you activate it, when you refine it, or when you strategically deploy it or deliver it. Let me give an example. For an example, there was a time that I needed 500,000 francs or so. That was like 2, 3 years ago in Cameroon at the time. I needed 500,000 francs. I'll give you a real example. And I have so many programs I can organize. I was like, okay, which program can I launch now? Create a flyer, promote it, and in 3 days maximum, I can get maximum 5 people to get me the money, and I solve this problem I needed. I thought about it. I created a program, launched it, promoted it. In 2 days, I got 5 people that paid 100,000 francs, and I got my money. That is an example of an asset. What was the asset there? Training idea. And the other asset that can come in is like what? Social media following, Facebook page, LinkedIn page, YouTube page. Like I always fondly say, many of us read this book by Adam Smith, The Wealth of Nations, I think, in secondary school, right? And in that book, he spoke about factors of production. I always fondly say that if you bring Adam Smith back to life today, he will rewrite that book and add digital space as a core factor in, producing wealth today, or as a core factor of production. So I gave that basic example to show you what an asset is. An asset in this context is anything that you already possess. It could be tangible or intangible. It could be your brain and your laptop. Those two can make you money. It could be a brain and your phone. I've made money many times with just my brain and my WhatsApp. Somebody said, oh, Dr. Joybert, this is happening to me right now. I want to, for example, let's say an entrepreneur who is thinking of getting investment, and then they're talking with an investor and they need an expert advice. They reach out on WhatsApp, Dr. Joybert, I'm having a meeting right now or in 2 hours with an investor, and I have done this, I've done this. I want to get your thoughts. Please, how much is your consultation fee for this amount? I indicate the amount, send my payment details. The guy pays me. I call him on WhatsApp and we talk. Walk me through what you have. What is he asking for? What do you want to do? Pam, pam, pam. My brain and my WhatsApp, and I make money. What is that? Two assets, intangible and kind of tangible because you can touch the phone and see the phone. You see what I'm driving you to? I want you to see yourself in that realm because everybody here, you are in that realm. The point is, maybe you don't believe it, you don't see it, you don't understand it, right? So anything that you already possess, you're not going to borrow it, you're not going to beg it. No, you already possess that is either tangible or intangible, but it carries a potential, number one, to create value for another human being, or it can generate growth for somebody, or it can deliver an advantage for another person. Because anything that can create value, generate growth, or deliver an advantage, that thing can make you money. You just need to do what? Either to refine it, add strategy, create delivery system, and then monetize it. If this is speaking to you, type me in the chat box. Let me be sure that I'm saying something that is helping you. If this is helping you, type me in the chat box. Give me some feedback. Type yes in the chat box or type me in the chat box if this is helping you. Come on, somebody. Yes, happy to see that. All right, let's proceed while that is coming. I wanted to be sure that this topic is hitting something. If I'm hitting you on the head, type hit. I like to hit people in the head and in their hearts. When you leave the session, you should not sleep, right? I always fondly say that when I run a session, I want people to have sleepless night. You wake up at midnight and you begin to think, let it begin to hit your head. What was this guy trying to do with my head like that, right? All right, so before I show you the how to, I want to list categories of assets in this context that all of us must have one. I am telling you. Now, when I'm listing them, ensure that get a pen. Everybody should have a pen, right? If you're in my session and you have a pen, I wonder how you're cramming it, right? But get a pen. As I'm listing the categories, begin to write the one that you know that you possess. Forget about what is external. Focus on what you possess now. Okay? So, categories of asset in this context. I'm going to talk about individual. I'm going to talk about institutions because there are entrepreneurs here and then there are professionals here. After that, we'll talk about how to now apply this framework and we are done. All right. So, what are the categories of assets in this context in relation to an individual? Number one, the first category is what I call the personal asset. Personal asset. So, what falls here are things like a particular set of skills that you have, knowledge that you have, experiences that you have, credibility that you have, reputation that you have, or even your personality traits that you have, or even your creativity. You see, these things are assets. So these things, they fall under your personal assets, skill set, knowledge, experiences, credibility, reputation, personality traits, resilience, creativity, and all of that. You see, for example, if you have a unique problem-solving ability in your industry, that is an asset that you can be able to convert it into a consultancy offer. In one of my academies, known as Skills and Monetization Academy, there's a course where I teach people how to convert what they know into a consulting business. And I've seen people come to me who are workers and they don't have enough income, and I teach them how to create a part-time consulting business. And in less than 3 months, they start getting clients as consultants. Right? Why? They pick just one skill set or an experience or a body of knowledge, and they create products from it, and they're able to do that. And people, either PhD holders, HND holders, people from different walks of life, they have done that. It is not about your level of education. It's about your boldness, your level of knowledge, experience, and what you can get done. There are so many people with certificates here and there, but trust me, they don't have that much experience and hands-on experience like people that even have BSs or HNDs, right? So the first category of asset is what? Your personal assets. What falls here? Your skills, body of knowledge, experiences, credibility, what have you. Number two, what is the second category of assets that you have that you can convert into a wealth creation system and make more money? What I call relational assets. Relational assets. This is where your network comes in. This is where mentors, clients, partnerships, your community goodwill, the trust of your audience, WhatsApp groups, newsletters, social media followers. Yeah, they fall in here because these are people that if you think strategically in one way or the other, you can be able to make money. You see that? Another category is what you could, this is where intellectual assets comes in. Intellectual asset. It's a bit connected to knowledge and skill set, but I prefer to talk about it differently, and I'm going to show you why. Intellectual asset. So you are a professional, you are an entrepreneur in your industry. There are a set of ideas, very unique ideas. Unique when what we call the content generation, perception generation, right? When a generation where if you know how to create good content, a body of one content can go viral on YouTube the right way. And if it is monetized, it can make you thousands of dollars. That is an asset. So your ability to create content is an intellectual asset. For example, I cannot count countless times where I have written a post on LinkedIn, and somebody reads, and if you look at the post, it may not have 10 likes or 10 comments. but somebody comes and pay me for a consulting job with good money because of the post that they read. That is as a result of that intellectual asset of creating that kind of content, I got a paying client who paid me some good money. You get the perspective. So intellectual asset is a category. Look at yourself, from ideas to content ideas to research to systems that you can develop to frameworks to processes to proprietary works. These things are assets that you can be able to monetize. You see, next is the fourth category of asset is material assets, right? Physical things. This is where things like tools, equipment, workspace, digital files, recorded sessions, physical resources, what else that you have that you know that this thing is, I can be able to convert this or use this and another asset, combine the two, and I begin to create wealth, right? The fifth category of asset is what I call contextual asset, context-based asset. What does that mean? Your current environment, your culture, your geography, your community, your affiliations, your unique positioning where you are. It's an asset, yes. There are people that, because they are blinded to the environment, they cannot use this particular asset. But if you look at your immediate environment and begin to think as a resourceful person, you will see that you can turn that something in that environment into a money impactful making system. You see? So let's say, for example, you are, I want to give a very practical example. There's a lady that I consulted with. I think I think she's based in Houston in the US. And she's a Ghanaian. And because of her language desire, she learned French and Spanish and all of that. She now runs a very good business in helping immigrants from Nigeria, Ghana, even Cameroon to learn Spanish in order to integrate in the Texas region because it's so many Spanish businesses, right? So you get the perspective. That is an example of contextual asset. She looks at an environment, she takes contextual asset plus intellectual asset, balances the two, and she's not making money. You get the point? So there's another lady I worked with that she's teaching. She's a lady from Bali in the northwest region, and she's teaching her language to kids in the diaspora, right? So she's in Cameroon and making money from the US in dollars. Why? She's able to use culture plus intellectual assets, combine the two, and she's making money. So there is something known as contextual asset, where you are, your environment, your culture, as a result of your geography, or the kind of community that you have access to, or the kind of affiliations that you belong to. Like I always tell many of my mentees and clients, there's a level of your career journey, there's a level of your business growth that you must, if you are serious, you have to join certain professional association if you are going to break through. Because there are some deals that you will not get if you don't belong into certain professional associations. Because there is something known as masterminds and certain kind of information only circulate inside the masterminds and you only see results when they have executed the opportunity, right? So that is an asset. So the kind of affiliations that you belong to, the kind of groups that you're part of, those are also assets, right? Another one that people may not believe is time assets. Time asset. Unused time, mismanaged time is an asset. How can you redeploy the unused time or the time you're mismanaging right now into what I call high value activities? For example, you work, and for you to go to work, you drive 40 minutes. And for you to come back from work, you drive 40 minutes or even more because of traffic. So that commuting time, it is unused time. Although you're driving, but it is unused at some point. So how can you use that time to invest in your intellectual asset? Okay, can you identify certain podcasts? Can you identify certain videos that you can listen to while you're driving so that you don't only waste time driving, but you are building an asset while you're doing that? So if in all of these 6 points, you will see that you have an asset that you can make money from. You do. Every human being does. I have seen it over and over and over and over. You see that every human being does. And because, like I said, an asset in this context means that anything that you already have that is within yourself, with you, with your relationships, with your work, or in your environment that you're overlooking, or you're underutilizing it, or you're undervaluing it. This is the three problems of many human beings. Like, one of the most popular questions that I ask in many consulting programs, especially when I'm having like a monetization consulting program, I always ask like, so when I talk with people and I ask them what they are doing, the experience, I'm like, so why are you not making good money from this? It's always my most question. So why are you not making money from this? And guess what? 99% of the human beings I talk to in this case, they are always having one or two or all of these problems. They have something that can make them good money, but either they are overlooking it, either they are underutilizing it, or they are undervaluing it. And when they go through a refining process, a packaging process, a value monetization journey, they see how they have so much at their disposal that they are not making good use of. So where do you fall? In all that I have listed, all the asset categories, please give me answers in the chat box. Are you overlooking, underutilizing, or undervaluing? Write in the chat box. Go ahead, give me feedback. Where do you fall? Are you overlooking? Are you underlooking? Or are you underutilizing? Which one are you doing? Or are you undervaluing? One of these, you're going to fall. Okay, I see underutilizing. You see that. So many underutilizing. All right. All right. So that is why you need to know how to now stop undervaluing, underlooking, or underutilizing, and convert all of that into a powerful, guaranteed money-making system in what you do. All right. Now, before I show you how to do that, let me talk to business people. So the first categories I was talking to at the individual level, right? If you're here and you run a business, the asset activation framework also works for you. I have done so many consulting programs, so many businesses. I've traveled to 20 nations, coaching and consulting because of companies. So I have seen them applying this here and there, right? So if you are in a business, you run a business, an NGO, an institution, how can you practice this asset, activation framework that I'm going to show you how to do that? What are the various asset categories in the context of an enterprise, or in the context of a business, or in the context of any institution that you have? Number one, chief of them all, human capital assets. Human capital assets. This is where employee skills comes in. This is where your leadership capacity comes in. This is where institutional knowledge comes in. This is where organizational culture comes in. This is where team collaboration comes in. Let me tell you something. I consulted with a business that they were able to double their income because they did not know that there was one employee in that company that had a very rare skill, that they could convert that skill into a powerful product and double their income. So when I was doing the review and the auditing and all of that, I came across this employee and I considered, oh, this skill plus this product, you can create this amazing product and make more money. I spoke with the CEO. We did more work, integrated it, and boom, more money came in. What happened? An existing employee skill that was underlooked, never seen, never recognized, never utilized, helped the business to make more money. You see, same as leadership capacity. I have met many businesses that the owners don't have the leadership capacity or the boldness to scale. They are afraid to scale. They don't know how to think like a leader to scale the business. They are small in one corner, but the business has the capacity to go big, to have more branches, even more nations, but they are scared to do that. So when you push them and coach them and work with them, they start expanding the business, right? So as a business person, your first asset that you can work on to activate to make more money is the human capital asset. Look at your employees, look at your leadership, look at your culture, look at the level of collaboration in your business. Number two, relational and social capital assets. Spoke about this at a personal level. Relational and social capital asset. Now, but for a business, listen to me, how this works for a business. Business A and business B, they're about to launch a product. Business A is launching that product with small customer base. Their Facebook page has 100 followers. Their Instagram page has 200 followers. Business B launching the same kind of product. Facebook page, 10,000 followers. Instagram, 20,000 followers. TikTok, 30,000 followers, for example. They launched the product on the same day. One has relational and social capital, and another does not. One already has a ready market willing to just hear and buy. Another will still need to struggle to get the market, then convince them to buy before they make money. You see the difference? So you run a business here and you have good customer base, good email newsletter, good SMS communication, WhatsApp group or WhatsApp channel of your customer base. That is social capital asset that you can always convert into cash if you know how to do it. It could be supplier relationship. You have a good relationship with your supplier to the extent that you can get goods on credit and sell, get profit before you pay them back. That's you making more money. Partnerships, industry associations, investor networks, brand trust. All of these things are important assets that if we pick them one after another in a typical business session, I can show you how to start converting those into more money, right? The next is what? Intellectual property assets. Every serious business should have what they call patents, should have trademarks, proprietary technology, research data, training manuals, software that they have developed or they have bought, organizational frameworks. All of these, there's a way to capitalize on all of these depending on the industry you're in and be able to make more money. The fourth category for business is physical and operational assets, machinery, office space, logistics systems, infrastructure, production facilities, technological platforms. What have you? How can you convert some of these physical operational assets into more money? Financial assets, cash reserves, that bank account that you just reserve funds should in case, credit line. Yeah, you have a good relationship with the bank that they tell you that, hey, because we are your banker, you can always take money extra up to 10 million francs. That's a credit line. And you see a business opportunity, you can use that credit line, invest in it, and make more money, and give back the money without interest. Many banks do that. Return earnings, investments, access to funding, and all of that. You see that. Another category is digital and information assets. It's a category today, right? Customer databases that you have online, analytics, CRM systems, different platforms that you can use in order to get out there more, reach more people, make better decisions, produce better products, and sell faster. You're able to make more money at that level, right? So entrepreneurs at this level begin to think of that. The seventh category for entrepreneurs is brand and reputation assets. The kind of name that your business has is important in our days. Like I said earlier on, we are in a perception economy. What is your corporate identity? What is the public perception around your business? As a CEO, as a founder, what is your thought leadership? It contributes to how you make money. What is the weight of your customer loyalty towards your business? Very important. Think about that, right? Number 8 under this is market position and strategic assets. I'm just listing. This talks about your geographic presence. Many people don't know that the kind of city you are in is an asset. A business located in Douala or Lagos or Johannesburg, right? Or New York or any other big city is an asset. It's a market position asset. How are you leveraging it? If you're living in a bigger city, you should by default be seeing how you can make more money than somebody in a smaller city. But if you don't see that as a geographic presence and asset that you can tap into, you will not go a step ahead to make good use of that competitive advantage or positioning, right? So look at your market positioning as a strategic asset or your geographic presence as a strategic asset, right? Look at your market share. It's going to help you a lot, all right? So these are the categories that as a business person or an individual you have, okay? Now, as we round up, let me now show you what are the 4 levels of asset activation. Remember, the purpose of this session is to show you how you can convert what you already possess as an asset. That's why I did some research and I listed the various categories of assets available to you as an individual or to an institution. So, what are the 4 levels of activation that you can now go through to now begin to convert that asset into a money-making system? How can you make more money from that asset? Level 1, discovery. Everybody should start at this level. Discovery. This is a level where you sit down to identify the gift and the resources that you own and you already possess. Remember, forget about what you don't have. Focus on what you have now. And that's why discovery, identification of your personal assets is important. And that's why I listed the asset category to help you discover. You see, many people overlook the different assets that they possess. And many of these can propel you forward in career and, of course, financially. So, under identification, you can be asking a question like, what do I have now that I am not yet maximizing at the highest level? What do you have? So I made it easy for you. I listed the various asset category. You have seen that there is something that you have now that you are not yet maximizing at the highest level, especially at the level of commercial capability, at the level of commercialization, because anything that you are not commercializing, you cannot make money from it, right? So for example, You are, I did this with a young lady the other time. She's a corporate employee, but she's very eloquent, very good with words. I said, you know what? Based on your journey professionally, based on your experience professionally, I would suggest that we create an extra business for you to become a corporate master of ceremony with specialization in this your industry. That means we build your brand and position you so well that you are so good that anytime the government is hiring or looking for a moderator or an expert or an international agency like NGO, United Nations, or a diplomatic institution like embassies that look, they're hosting an event around this or area of expertise. She was in environment. Around this or area of expertise, any event in this country around climate change, around even agriculture, any event around that hosted by ministry, government, international agencies, diplomatic institutions, private companies, NGOs, become so, we're going to position you and you become a high profile master of ceremony for targeted events around this industry. I started working with her. And in less than no time, she got her first MC gig and she was paid so well. What happened? It started with discovery. She was a corporate employee, but yet she was eloquent and good with public speaking and presentation. But she was unaware how she could build what I like to call an influence-based business from that skill. We developed a process, created a strategy, and I told her, use your position in your company, start writing proposals, start attending professional networks and hangouts where people who work in your category go to. Start going to golf clubs. Start going to places where people who work in your similar industry, where they meet and they do sports. Leave your house. Go beyond your family, friends, and colleagues. When you get to them, as you get their contacts, let them know that you are a specialist in hosting and moderating events around this particular industry. That's how she built her business. So while she's working from Monday to Friday, she's making more money on Saturdays and Sundays from events. So discovery. So many of you need to sit down after today and begin to document which of my personal assets am I currently underutilizing, overlooking, or even ignoring. You do that. When you do that, you go to step 2, refinement. Very important step. This step requires a lot of work for many people. You will discover it, you will identify it, but you need to refine it. You need to sharpen and strengthen the asset. You need to sharpen and strengthen the gift. You need to sharpen and strengthen the skill. You may need to do what I call skill stacking. You discover that, oh, I have this skill. That is true. But for this skill to make me money, I need to gain another skill to balance the two. Then I start making money. For example, there's a lady I'm working with right now. She reached out to me that she wants to start making an extra source of income. And I spoke to her. I said, okay, tell me your background. Where are you coming from? She said, oh, I did human resource at this. I did a legal program, a lawyer program at this. And right now I am working as this in a corporate organization. I said, okay, fine. You know what? I think that from your background, if you take my program on becoming a certified business consultant, you will become a very good consultant and you can start making money on the side. What was I doing? Refining what she has because she didn't know what she could make money from. But based on her current job and her experience, she feels very confident talking to people one-on-one and asking questions. She feels confident solving problems. So the best way to help her start making more money from that is to stack a skill on top of an existing skill. That's refinement, sharpening and strengthening an existing skill. Like I always say, a raw gift is not enough. Like I always say that talent and passion does not pay bills. It is the natural talent that you convert into a skill that can create value that can get you paid. You see, so the purpose of refining that asset, sharpening it, strengthening it, is as a result of you refining so you can be able to convert it into a money making system. And this is where a lot of practice and mastery comes in. And many people don't pass this level because it takes a lot of hard work. Many people will not be comfortable to dedicating, let's say, 3 hours every day for 30 days, learning something so good. For example, if you're going to take my small business consultant certification program for 30 days, you need to dedicate 3 hours every day for 30 days to learn what I've designed in that program. So many people don't want to pay that price of consistent study, mastery, practice, perfection to refine. So many give up here. And you see, in the marketplace, that's why there are few people that make money. That's why the marketplace is like this, right? So many people at the bottom, so many at the bottom, so many. At the top, very small at the top. So that's why at the top, the few have so much money. Why? Because there is so much money to be made, but only a few can make it. That's why the rich gets richer and the poor gets poorer. Because the poor are at the bottom here, and the money to make at the bottom is so small. And there are so many people at the bottom. So many people fighting for small money. At the top, the money to make at the top is so much. But the number of people to make that money is so small. You get the perspective. So when you pay the price of level 2 and do a lot of refining and sharpening and strengthening, practice, mastery, you begin to leave the bottom of the pyramid, begin to climb, begin to climb. You get here, and then you can get to top 10%, top 1%. You can do that. But it takes a lot of mastery and commitment. And an average human being is not willing to discipline themselves every day to do that. It's a challenge for many people. So if you are going to refine, you're going to sharpen and strengthen, you should be comfortable. You should be comfortable at paying the price of refinement. Number three, the third level is what I call strategic deployment. Now, if you do one and you do two, and you don't do three, you're going to have issues in making money, right? Because it is at number three that you are able to get money coming into your life. Because the value you create that is not deployed for others to see and pay you for it is not going to make you money. So your ability to identify, based on this value I have, what channels can I pass through to deploy this idea into the marketplace and get the target customers to pay me for? And like a lady reached out to me. I can give you so many examples, right? I see a lot of things every day. She was like, I think that this program is good for me, but I am an introvert. Sometimes I can be very sarcastic. I'm like, oh, if you accept you're an introvert, you have also accepted that you're going to be very poor in life, right? And you were like, why do you say that? I said, look, you see, 50 years ago, people who stay introverts could make a lot of money. We were in a generation where it's now called the perception content driven generation. The more you are out there with your value, the more money you're going to make. So if you hide and accept that label that, oh, I am an introvert, oh, I am shy, I don't like to see people, I don't like to do that, you're also saying that, oh, you know what? I like to be poor, I don't like to sell my value, and I'm okay to being small. Let me tell you something. We are getting to a dimension where companies will only be recruiting people that have personal brands that they can use their personal brand to amplify corporate brand. It is already happening. I get many job offers because people they want the brand that I have to amplify their brand. So if you are not, let's say, good at content creation, there are some opportunities that you cannot get. You get a point. So I was telling her that. So strategic deployment or your willingness and desire to master various delivery channels you can pass through to deliver your value is very important. So at this level 3, this is where you begin to ensure that your gift is in the right market. Your gift is in the face of the right people. The Bible says that a man's gift will make room for him. I can hardly teach without talking about the Bible because all my strategies are Bible based, right? A man's gift makes room for him. So if you are not using your gift on a delivery channel, on a marketing channel, you will not make room for yourself. One of the fastest ways to go to nations, go to cities, is to understand how to strategically deploy your gift, right? For example, I always find this say, I've been to several nations, 4 continents. I've never paid a flight ticket for myself. And I can give many examples of clients that have seen me just on social media and they hire me to come do work for them. Why? Strategic deployment, market delivery, understanding how to use different channels to do that. And that's why I always say that it was more difficult for your parents to make money than it is for you. Because 50 years ago, 70 years ago, many of your parents did not have social media platforms that they can use to deploy what they were good at. So it limited their ability to be seen by the right people. So you need to understand the game of strategic deployment and especially which channel is perfect for your delivery. Not all platforms are equal. One of the most important things to know how to do in this generation is which platform is good and best for my value to be delivered through. It's very important. Not all platforms are equal. So the where and how you deploy your skills determines whether you become a leader in that industry or you become a beggar in that industry. Where are you deploying your skill? And how are you doing it? There are some skill sets that if you are not using videos as part of your delivery, you will not get clients. And there are some skill sets that if you are not using writing text as an important part of your delivery, you will not get clients. There are some things that if you are not talking about it on LinkedIn, you will not get clients. And there are some things that if you're not on TikTok with those things, you will not get clients. So you need to know the where and the how to deploy your skill set or your asset. Many people do it blindly. No, discern and begin to understand. Based on the value I carry, based on my target market, where do I deploy this value and how do I deploy it? It's a very important concept. Very important. Very important. So you have to understand that. You have to understand that. You have to understand that. Because, for example, there are many people right now who are underpaid because they are delivering their value to people who don't value what they're selling and don't have the money to pay for what they're selling. Let me say it again. There are many people right now, they are underpaid now, and they're struggling to be profitable because they have good value, but their problem is that they are delivering that value to the wrong people and maybe in the wrong way. I always share this example that blew my mind away, and I got so many lessons from it. There was a time, I think it was in 2021 in Cameroon, and it was a weekend. A Saturday, I was invited to speak in Boya by young entrepreneurs. I went to Boya, and these guys gave me 30,000 francs, right? And I accepted, of course, because it was I knew the young guy, so I wanted to support him. I would not have accepted that fee, but that's what he had to give me to let's say to honor me, not to pay me, to honor me with it, right? And then as I was being driven from Boya back to Douala, one of these people that work in a bank called me and said, "Hey, Dr. Joybert, where are you?" I said, "I'm in Douala." He said, "I am having a meeting with a few of my friends, and we don't just want it to be a casual meeting. And we decided to get an expert to come share a few things around sales and marketing and the Cameroon economy." I said, "No problem." And then the way the discussion went, they needed the same content that I delivered in Boya, almost the same thing. I said, "Cool, I'll be available. Sunday, 4 p.m., deal, I will come." Now, we didn't really agree on price per se, but that man is a man, it's a man. That man knew my value, and we came, I did the sessions, we led a practical session, we spoke, I trained them, did that, and then that was done. When we were done, he gave me an envelope of 500,000 francs. No, 700,000 francs. Same value, same person, same country, but the difference in what I was paid was where I delivered the value and to people that recognize the value. In another place, I was underpaid because I served the same good value to an audience that will underpay me or does not have the capacity to pay for the value. In another context, I delivered the value to the right audience who understood and valued it, and even many people there hired me for more programs after that event. You get a difference. So many people are underpaid, not because their value is bad, but because they have not grown in their ability to strategically deploy what they have spent time to create as value. So, from individual levels to enterprise levels, if we do an audit right now of your delivery channels, of how you deploy your value, on a scale of 1 to 10, how will you rate your deployment strategy? Right in the chat box. On a scale of 1 to 10, how will you rate your deployment strategy? Some people are even confused, like, what is deployment strategy, right? Some people like, mine is non-existent. I am just guessworking. I'm just trying an error. The one that works, praise God. It doesn't work, we thank God, right? But that is not supposed to be the case. You're supposed to have a strategy that makes it work. And then step 4 of this asset activation framework, and we are done, and I can take 2 questions maximum, is multiplication. When it comes to wealth creation, if you are not thinking about multiplication in terms of how can I scale my value so that more people can consume is very important. Okay, so you must always be thinking of scaling. How can I scale my gift? How can I scale my skill? How can I scale this one-man business? How can I scale it? How can I go beyond personal capacity? How can I go beyond family and friends? Because you see, one of the major things that differentiates the elite in every industry is that they understand how to convert personal skills into scalable systems, into an ecosystem that can make money for them, right? For example, let's say a coach, for example, I do coaching, other people do coaching. But I have gone beyond coaching. I have created different academies. That's scaling. So that even if I am not training live, there are people around different countries taking my courses on my online academies and they're paying for the services. That's scaling. How can you scale what you're doing beyond you? And most importantly, how can you scale beyond your immediate environment? When you start making money around something, one of the most important strategies you start thinking about is multiplication strategy. How can I multiply the impact of this? It's very important. So start thinking about it. How can you multiply it? How can you create better systems and multiply it? How can you get better team members or freelancers or experts to work with? How can you multiply it? How can you have more branches if possible? Or how can you be in multiple platforms and make money from those platforms if possible? But think in terms of multiplication. Okay? So, in conclusion, I take questions. Average people always focus on how can I acquire more resources? Oh, I am broke. I am not making more money because I don't have this, I don't have this, I don't have this. But let me tell you something. The smartest people, one thing they are good at is how can I refine? How can I strategically amplify what I already have at a different level? Because for many people, you are not struggling because of what you don't have. You're struggling because you have something and you are not able to amplify it and maybe not even get what you don't have and use it for good. If you follow this that we have looked at today in the last 1 hour, 10 minutes, I believe that you'll be able to use what you have and create wealth and increase your income at a high level after today. All right. That is it for today. If you have questions, go ahead in the chat box and raise your hand or indicates that tomorrow we're going to look at the judicious utility cycle. Don't miss it. I'm going to share something very, very important for you guys. So it's day 2 for those that are joining it right now. You're welcome. I have the tradition before my birthday on the 2nd of September, I always do a special training program for people in my community as my birthday gift, right? I am just nice like that. Instead of receiving gift, I give gift first. All right, awesome. All right, I can get questions. I see Victory's hand is up. If you have a question, raise up your hand on Facebook, on YouTube. You can type your question in the chat box and I will happily respond to it. Okay. All right. Yes, Victory, go ahead. Ask your question.
Good evening, sir. My question is, let's say for someone who has already gone through step 1 and step 2 and
Mhm.
is currently in stage step 3, that is strategic deployment,
Yeah.
um, how can one overcome certain limitations that are kind of as a result of his geographical location? For example, there are so many job opportunities and so many other kind of opportunities that are open to people in various fields, but in order for you to be eligible for them, they are going to say, for example, you must be in the US, you must be having maybe like um, right to work in the US and so on and so forth. How
Yeah.
does one overcome such limitations?
Now, there are some limitations like geographical limitations. Again, there are some limitations that on you, immigration places on you that you cannot, there's nothing you can do about. But is that the only way that you can amplify what you're doing, right? Because sometimes, because of narrow focus, people are like, okay, I am stuck because this one door cannot open for me. You get a point. So it doesn't help in any way. So what other ways, what are other options available to you? And there are very more options available to you, right? You just need to do a lot of research to begin to understand, okay, what else can I get? Like for example, I was talking to a guy, he had this same issue, and I said, do you know what is e-visa? Or do you know what is a digital nomad residency visa? He was like, programs, I don't know that. I said, research all these European countries, Middle East countries. You're going to see different programs that they offer, like e-visa, digital nomad programs, and all of that. See how you can get one. Because sometimes you can be like in Cameroon because of an e-visa of a particular country, you can always America company can employ you because you have that e-visa, right? Again, it's the purpose of how can you expand your possibilities and be able to research things like that. All right. Now, if you are not able to do that, okay, instead of trying to get a job, are you able to use what you have to try to create and sell? Because sometimes, instead of what can I do for somebody to pay me? All right, if that's not working, how can I create and sell also? See, one way to always ensure that you can always make money is always ensure that you think in multiple ways in terms of having income come to you. Because there are some roadblocks that you're going to meet that there's nothing you can do about it, except you align with the principle laid down. Okay, if you cannot align at the moment, what are other pathways available to you? You need to begin to find it. And thank God for Google. Thank God for better search programs like ChatGPT you can use and search different things. Think at that level. Think at that level. Okay, it's going to help you. All right, because again, if those limitations are there, you cannot you cannot U.S. immigration cannot say, okay, you know what? Let us stop this law because of victory. But how can you find your way around it and find opportunities in other areas, or look at what are other options available to me that I can do this and do that? Or if I cannot get someone to pay me to do it, how can I create and sell from where I am? You see, for example, if you are skillful, there are several online freelance platforms that you can get into and be able to get part-time job offers while doing that. And maybe in the process, you discover that, you know what, maybe I can just run a full-fledged training business or consulting business or a freelance agency where I hire people like me and other people come and hire them through me for part-time jobs. You start thinking of different possibilities. Okay. It is going to help you in that light. All right. Yes, Joseph, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the training. Very much appreciate. Yeah, I have a question, sir. I don't know if I'm correct, but I think I do have an intellectual asset. There has been a
Okay.
problem in my industry that for the past 3 years, I've had so many people reach out to me, wanting to know how, as Cameroonians and even some other African countries, how they can get to invest in the US stock exchange market by buying this Apple, all these stocks of these companies that
Yeah.
we know.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, it has been impossible to say that because there are brokerage firms and everything, but Cameroonians cannot access that because of some US laws.
Yeah.
So I've been researching that for the past 3 years, and just of recent, I've found a way, and it works. So I think I'm the only one that has that. Nobody actually does that. So I was trying not to come out with a way I could maximize this while I still have it as my solution. I don't know. So I tried. As of now, I have a running ad, a paid ad that is running. I have a group of 250 members. But I want to use a method where even without running ads, because that is the main way we get clients for my business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm trying not to create brand to create partnership with some people that are really really big on TikTok and Instagram, because I'm not that big on social media. I've realized that as a limitation. I'm still working on that. But why this is still under my control, I mean, the solution I've come out with, I have opened some opportunities for some brand ambassadors. I've had like 3 meetings with some of them today, offering them deals on so they can promote me on their platform and everything. So I want to just ask you, how can I make use of this as somebody that has a solution now that nobody else has? Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right. So there are broad ways to run this with if you're going to have a big heart to do it. And there is something in business known as you need to pay a full consult. Yeah, Randy, you're a mentee, right? Why are you asking me this question? You can ask me and have a one-on-one session with you. I cannot answer this the way I want to answer in a few words because it's big. All right. So schedule a meeting, get into the mentorship groups, get the link and schedule a meeting with me and let's talk. Because what you have here is a first mover advantage, right? And there needs to be a concrete strategy. So I see 4 levels to run this with. And at all these 4 levels, you can make money at all these 4 levels if you do it right. Okay. So let's have a meeting and let me walk you through the 4 levels on how to execute this and make money, and both at the working with individuals, and even how can you start thinking of, okay, how can you work with microfinance and even schools? Because this is what Nigerians are doing, South Africans are doing, Kenyans are doing. Why can't Cameroonians do it? Okay, so there is a way that we can create this and structure this, and you run with it and execute it, and it's going to help you. And you see this. You did not attend the last mentorship call, Randy. I know of those who attended. I'm going to punish you for that. I'm joking. All right. So book a call with me. Let's talk on that, and then create a structure and you run with it. Okay. It's going to help you. All right. Yes, Nicole, go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for this amazing session. My question is at the level of multiplication. Okay, if you actually already monetizing a skill, let's say you are getting the right client. When I mean right clients, like you're getting what you want, how do you know that you are ready to multiply, like scale to the next thing? Because I'm finding difficulties in moving to several things, because I know that to actually be able to make enough money, and I know that to have this mindset of making much money, you need
No,
to have
Nicole, it's simple. Start scaling now. Start scaling now. If clients are already coming, start scaling now. And if you look, wait, are there services that you have that you provide the same service to every client that comes to you? Do you have services like that? Do you have services like that where
Yes, I
you
do have
then it's time to scale. It's time to scale. And
okay.
and you can also invest a lot in marketing when you know that you have a system that can absorb the clients when they're coming. Okay. So you are you are at the right place where you can start scaling, because number one, clients are coming for almost the same type of product. So scale. Number two, if you have a system to scale, you can start thinking, okay, do I do paid ads? Because you can only do paid ads when you have a system. Because if you do paid ads and the ads does well and you have 1,000 inquiries in a day, you're not going to convert them if there's no system that can convert those people. All right. So when you start making money, and especially a business that some things are repeating, just start thinking about scaling and systemizing it, because it reduces more work from you and also gives you the bandwidth, to start thinking of more improvements and innovation. Because see, many people don't know that sometimes when your brain is only focused on execution, you cannot innovate. And the beauty of scaling is that when you scale and systemize, your brain steps aside from a lot of just executing. You cannot think broadly. Okay, right now I have more clients from Cameroon. How can I get more clients from Nigeria? You see, you can only think at that level if you have left execution and it's systemized, and you have more time to think of, okay, how can I improve this? How can I expand this? How can I reach more people like this? All right. But if you're always the one executing, your brain will always focus on execution in the execution mode. It will find it difficult to be a visionary brain or a thinking brain. All right. So start systemizing and scaling right away. It is going to help you. All right. Awesome. Last question, and then I'm good to go. Let me check if there are questions from Facebook. All right. One way to scale up is building a brand on social media. What is the best way to achieve that? My business is to sell bags online. Most of my customers are Yahoo and Douala, but I am in Bafang. Most of my leads do not make purchases because trust us. What kind of bags are you selling? Edward, what kind of bags are you selling? And let me say this, there are many of my mentees that have moved into different cities and even countries because of my advice. Look at, there's a level of growth you cannot rise if you're in certain locations. So, Edward, if you are serious about building a business, you may start thinking of moving to Yaoundé or Douala. It's not about, if you are serious about, look, there are some moments in your life that if you are serious about what you're doing, movement will not be an option. It will be a must. There are some things that you cannot achieve in certain countries. Let's say in Cameroon, if you cannot move to Yaoundé or Douala or maybe Boya, you cannot achieve certain things, right? In Nigeria, you cannot move to, let's say, Lagos or Abuja, Port Harcourt, things like that, right? So there are some levels, there are some certain moments that you just have to do everything possible to move, because there is, whether I like it or not, geographic strategic advantage will always be there. Okay? Not them. I have seen people who have pushed to get how do they call it, transfers to different locations because of what they want to build. Except you want to end up as a trained teacher at that level, and that's all you want to do for the next 50 years. But if you're thinking at the long-term game and think, okay, plus this my teaching, even how can you scale that you're teaching? How can you take that you're teaching to a whole new level, right? So when you start thinking, I'm not saying you should move now, but there are some levels of multiplication that you're going to multiply and amplify. You have to make a move so you can serve at the bigger level. All right. So when it comes to your branding, of course, you cannot create a good brand on social media if you're not good with content creation, right? You must be good with content, creative content creation, right? And since you're talking about trust and people not trusting you to pay you online, and most of your clients are in Yaoundé and Douala, okay, how can you start thinking of, is there a possibility of you having people you can partner with to use their, shops or their locations to keep some of your bags, so that the people can always know that instead of telling them that, oh, do you supply these bags? Yes. Do you deliver these bags? Yes. From where? Instead of saying Bafang, you say from Douala, even though you're in Bafang, because you have a system that you have established with a friend or a partner, that they can get the bags from that location to the client where they are. All right. So how can you think at that level also to do that? But also, if you are very good at content creation and your brand on social media is strong, you can reduce that particular worry. Okay? You can reduce that particular worry and it will definitely help you to make more sales. Okay? So think at that level, it will definitely help you. Awesome. I started a laundry business in Bamili, but now how can I deploy to make more clients out of my current location? All right, sell to more locations. How can you get clients? How do you promote yourself out of Bamili? How can you promote yourself in Bambui? How can you do that? How can you target particular clients in Bambui? Can you create a system where you go take the addresses, laundry, iron, go deliver back and charge them for the pickup and bringing it back? If yes, good. So can you do flyers, go to Bambali, share from door to door, office to office, whatever? Just if you want to get to a new location, market in that new location, as simple as that, right? And you're good to go. Or you want to do targeted ads, all right, can you do an ad and just target the ads on in Bamboo, my 7, my 6, all of those areas, my 5, and then I'm going to add an extra service of pickup, and then you come and give the addresses back and charge them for pickup and bringing it back. Fine, you can do that. All right. So you can step up at that particular level and it will help you. All right, that is it for today, everybody. I believe that you were impacted, you were blessed. Thank you all for showing up. And tomorrow, we are going to take it to a whole new level and look at the judicious utility cycle, what it does, and how it can help you amplify your current ability in your wealth creation journey. All the industry and business teaching topics are focusing on amplifying wealth creation possibilities and industry results. Okay, so don't miss tomorrow, same time. God bless you all. And for those who are members of Professionals and Entrepreneurs Fellowship, you know that we are meeting at 4 a.m. For our kingdom teaching programs, right? So if you're here and you're not there, you are welcome to join us. I run a community of kingdom entrepreneurs and professionals, and we met to teach. So I'm doing some kingdom teachings where we started 4 a.m. this morning and we looked at the faith that produces results. And tomorrow morning, we're going to be looking at the 3 elements evil spirits fight in the minds of believers. I'll be teaching you the role of your mind and spirituality and what the enemy fights in your mind and how you can fight back and see results in your spiritual life. So if you're interested and you're not part of the community, you can WhatsApp me for the link and I'll happily add it to the community. And you join us at 4 a.m. You see, 4 a.m. people are like 4 a.m. Yes. There are people that wake up at 4 a.m. and we do this every single day or consistently. All right. Amazing Christian entrepreneurs and professionals from about 14 countries, 3 continents. It is always an amazing time. God bless you all and see you tomorrow morning or tomorrow at